Hello, and welcome to this week's Week Ahead reading with myself. Hi, if you are new here, my name is Erica, and I kind of want to introduce myself a little bit differently. I am a person who helps other people find their direction in life. And I do this by using many different gifts, tools, things I've studied and picked up along the way, including human design, gene keys, astrology, energy healing, empathetic listening, and various embodiment techniques. And so I feel that there is a lot of the times like a gap between who we think we are and the potential of who we could be, or like who our higher self desires to be. And sometimes we have to make agreements between those two pieces of ourselves and go on this journey, go on this path to like discover who we really are and fully embody that person that we are. And therefore, we tend to attract and live a life that's more in like unique alignment with who we truly are. So, if that is something that resonates with you, I would love to help you out. Please check out my website. It is www.erikalayne333.com. And you can also find like all the links to everything down below in the description box. And this is like a good way to just kind of like check all this out and stay up to date on things and all of the different things I have to say about transits and offerings and things I offer, right? Like, so yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for being here with me on this journey and all of your continued support. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this reading. Now, I also need to state that this is a collective reading, which means that this is like just general for everyone based on the transits at play. And so it's not personalized, right? It's not very unique. And so I would love if you just take what resonates and don't, soak up anything that just isn't tracking with you, right? And so yeah, today is Monday the 25th, and we are gonna go to till until Sunday the 31st. Oh my gosh, the 31st. I have to slow down a little bit. Mercury slowing down quite a bit, getting ready to retrograde. So I should do, right? Just slow down, stop tripping up on my words. So we just had this lunar eclipse occur this morning, and we're kind of just all like from that. I feel like this particular one is kind of bringing back up that just like that anger from like people just taking advantage of you or treating you like shit or walking all over you, being inconsiderate, like especially if you have Libra energy or you are just like a people person, right? Someone who really kind of like senses the energy off of people, and therefore you kind of like play this game of either being like overcompensating or also just like having these like triggering responses to the energy that you pick up off of. And also, like I kind of discussed, like you should go read the post I made yesterday if you're interested in really kind of like diving in deep into the eclipse energy, because I did talk about this. But like, if you're the type of person that also has like a triggering response to the energy of others, then you could like this like agitation might fester within you because you're like freezing externally, like you're not confronting the situation, you're not protecting yourself in that situation, or also like you're not able to really see a solution to any conflict very clearly because there's like an emotional response, right? And so you have to really kind of like detach and like see where that emotional response is coming from, so that way you can maybe find a solution if one is needed, or at least find a solution for yourself. If you can't find a diplomatic solution between you and the other, you might find a solution for yourself. But we're really kind of just like shedding and releasing these nervous system responses to other people and other people's energy and other people's auric field. We're also kind of observing how far we've come from the last solar eclipse in Libra, which was like mid-October, right? So like mid-October to end of October, like what was that whole time like for you, you know, and how can you kind of compare it to the present moment and what's going on in your life right now? Um, can you see like any learned lessons, any balancing points here between yourself and other people? And we are also we're also like releasing judgments that we've outgrown. Like maybe it's like a little bit of like a shadow work and it's or not shadow work, but more maybe like a celebration of shadow work. Like kind of like when you look at your life now and you're like, man, I used to judge this as like one way or another. And now I feel completely differently about it. I have a completely different perspective on this particular situation. And you kind of can see, like, wow, I've grown. I've grown a lot. Because let's be real, guys, like that's what growing is. Growing is being able to shift perspective about something, being able to be detached enough to like let go of belief systems that are worn out and adapt new ones, fresh thinking, fresh perspective. So yeah, eclipse seasons are always kind of just like a weird, we're going to be in like a weird liminal space, you know, between now and the solar eclipse. And I have a lot more to say about the solar eclipse than, or even just next week in general, than I do about this week. This week is honestly kind of like a more chill time compared to what's coming, but it is like this weird liminal space in between eclipses that's like just kind of like foggy. We don't really see, like, we can kind of feel like things are shifting, things are happening, but they're not really clear yet. We can't really like tangibly see it yet. So it really is just a time to just kind of like slow down and process. Nothing is retrograde yet, but Mercury's slowing down, you know? So kind of like process what's going on the outside, but like through an internal filter, you know, like how is this resonating within me? What kinds of like internal feelings, bodily sensations are coming up, are arising within me from the things that are occurring around me externally? And how can I bring more harmony and peace in between those two things, in between the inside and the outside, myself and other people? To also get into this liminal space, you know, for today after this eclipse, the moon is going to continue to be in Libra for the rest of the day. It's going to conjunct the south node, and we're going to kind of hit that point as well. And you know, on the human design gene key side of things, um every single gate within the sign of Libra is all located within the intuition center. So I just feel like in this liminal space, you could really kind of like tap into what your intuition feels like. Like, get acquainted. Your feelings can't control you if you know what they are. You know, like if you understand how they feel. So like how do these different intuitive hunches feel? How can you kind of play around with that? We also have Mars in Pisces now. So again, to add to that liminal space I'm talking about, because Mars loves to be in Aries and that's where it starts, you know, it's just like it wants to start, and it's at the very end of the whole astrological chart. It's in Pisces, right? And also the sun is in Aries, and the sun likes to be in Aries. So it's like ready to start the new year. It's ready to start the spring season. It's ready to go. But then it's also like there's like a lot of like weird liminal foggy spiritual, hard to kind of grasp, like more subconscious, right? More subconscious things that need to be revealed, that need to be acted upon before the actual material action can take place, you know? We have to make sure that we're really like in sync with the ending and the beginning. Have we really done the work to end all this shit before we put all this like action into starting all the new shit, you know? And I love that for this time of releasing. I really do, because it's like, how can we just really kind of forgive and find peace with the way things have happened, with the way things are, and really move forward in a new and fresh way without all of this like baggage. So that's it for Monday. On Tuesday, the moon is still in Libra, and at this point, it's going to make its opposition to Mercury in Aries. And remember, Mercury in Aries is going to be going retrograde a week from today, next Monday. And so it's like really slowed down at this point. It's not going to move much. It's kind of just like liminal space, you know, chilling in the sky, just not really doing much. And so we're still feeling this like Libra Aries axis of everything that I talked about. And even more so, like, we'll talk about this more at the new moon. But in esoteric astrology, like in esoteric astrology, the best way I can explain the difference between tropical and esoteric, and kind of this actually, like, you get a little sneak peek here, this really kind of sums up like my outlook on all of this as a whole, and like kind of why I evolved from astrology into like the human design and gene key side of things, because of seeing it this way. Like, I always had more of an esoteric or spiritual outlook on astrology, and I felt like this really like explained how I felt. So basically every single zodiac sign has its traditional ruler, and that really kind of represents like the archetypal story, the personality, the more three-dimensional ways of like expressing this person in this like material reality, right? But then there's this secondary, more spiritual, more esoteric ruler of each sign, which is representative of kind of like the key to the soul opening up through this archetype and then becoming the like higher expression, the soul's expression of this particular energy rather than the just lower personality qualities. And so with Aries, its traditional ruler is Mars, which is in Pisces, is chilling, getting ready to end things. But its esoteric ruler is actually Mercury. And the reason why is because Aries is trying to kind of like push something new into the world. That's why it's ruled by Mars on the personality side, because it's like the energy, the like sacral solar plexus, like getting that ball rolling, like pushing something forward. But what is it pushing forward, right? Like, see, that's the thing, is that on the lower end of these personality qualities, it could be pushing just what the fuck ever forward, and like doing absolutely, I guess, no good to anyone. That's like that, just like waste of energy, anger kind of thing. Like anger can be channeled into more constructive ways or more destructive ways, essentially, right? And so with Mercury, it's like, no, we're talking like these higher ideas of like how we kind of can see like this like future direction moving forward, like all the great ideas of the modern age that are going to push us into a more evolved, higher future. It's pushing like the energy push of those ideas. And you know, Mercury is also said to be like the messenger of the gods, or like the way that the gods communicate with us. And so you could say that there is like these new ideas wanting to emerge, to be pushed forward out there into the world right now. But we're in this liminal space. We really have to figure out how to listen, like how to listen to that voice, how to listen to those ideas that need to get pushed forward, how to become a vessel of those ideas, how to find that intuitive spiritual connection to differentiate between between fears and intuitive insight. So I really see it as being like a good time to just kind of slow down internally and figure that out before shit really starts going, you know? Wednesday, the moon moves into Scorpio. And as soon as it moves into Scorpio, it's going to square Pluto. And this is that fixed square, that like stubborn square between Aquarius, like wanting, and it's Pluto though, you know, it's Pluto. So it's like, I feel like it's working together with the moon in Scorpio, obviously. And it's just like, hey, I know you want to zoom out and see this bigger picture, but like we really got to take care of the shadows of this whole thing, this whatever emotion is popping up, whatever kind of like triggers or like responses are popping up. Like I know you want to detach, and I know you want to like not feel it. I know you want to logically process it, but we got to stop doing this, you know, or it's never gonna get dealt with. Like we really have to like dive deep into the emotions, into the darkness of this, and again feel it out, get connected with it. This is all preparing us to be a vessel of this new pioneering future that we are trying to be a part of bringing forward for humanity. As soon as it's done squaring Pluto, you know, as like it's going to jump one singular degree and then trine Mars in Pisces. Scorpio and Mars love each other just as much as Scorpio and Pluto. So we could maybe even feel kind of like the fire of Mars like ignite a little bit more even on this day. But again, we're still maybe just ending things. Maybe it's the last little bits of energy that we need to fully close the chapter and end some things, to make your peace with like the things that have hurt you, to forgive. Like forgiveness is really coming up strongly. You know, Pisces can also represent like how we feel on our deathbed. Like, would a lot of these things that you're all up in a tizzy about right now matter to you if you were laying on your deathbed? What would really matter? How can you conserve energy for that, for what would really matter? Venus in Pisces is also starting to make a sextile to Uranus and Taurus. So Venus and Taurus are again like good team there, and sextile is positive energy. And with these like qualities of Pluto and Aquarius that I talked about on this day, what if it's like, okay, yeah, we have to feel emotions. We can't zoom out and logically think about everything, but we can get innovative with like how we're going to ground ourselves in our emotions. You know, like maybe we're in this liminal space and we can't really act on things right now. So maybe while we're kind of waiting for these messages and these downloads to come, while we're waiting to really feel this connection, how can we kind of play in our physical environment to ground ourselves down, to ground these emotions through our bodies and find peace that way? Like, how can we self-soothe? How can we self-soothe while we're figuring shit out? How can we deal with the liminal? How can we feel comfort in that weird, awkward, uncomfortable place? Okay, Thursday, the moon is still in Scorpio. It's going to make a trine to Saturn, oppose Jupiter, and then oppose Uranus. As we're feeling things and grounding things in, we're making maybe new agreements towards our spirituality. We're making new promises to our spirit team. And we're like finding new ways to devote ourselves. But with this opposition to Jupiter and Uranus, there is a need to bring these things that you find, these deeper, darker, emotional, mucky things, like muddy things, and how do you like bring them up to the surface and like do something with it? Like, don't keep it stuck within you. How can you like express it, get it out of you, journal about it, channel it into some type of creative expression, channel it into any type of expression that doesn't harm other people? Especially if anything comes up that day that's kind of just like wild card, just kind of all over the place. How can you again ground and settle into this and channel this energy in a healthy way? Okay, Friday, moon is still in Scorpio and it's making a trine to Neptune, and then it's going to move into Sagittarius. So I love that. Last, like, whatever kind of sifting through you've been doing up until this point, like, whatever's left, hand it over. Like, it's out of your control now. Let it go, and then move into Sagittarius, which is when we're going to feel out our beliefs around these things. So, kind of like we go down deep, we pull up the roots of some of these things that are triggering us, that are getting this kind of emotional response. And then once we get into Sagittarius, we're like, this is the shit that's like been holding me back. And I don't need to spend any more time. Like, I said this today earlier to a couple of friends. It's like that whole age old concept of like, uh energy grows where attention flows, right? So like, yes, our attention has to flow into these darker things and deal with it. But it's like if we stay there, if we stay stuck there, then those things just grow and grow. We're trying, at that point, we're trying to control our shadow work. We're trying to impose ourselves on these things when really they're just something that comes up with divine timing, something that comes up naturally, something that comes up with ease. And then when it comes up, we deal with it. We don't suppress it. So it gets stuck there. And then once we deal with it, we move on. And like Sagittarius is like, where is our attention going? The arrow, right? Like, where is that arrow pointing to at this point? And like, how can we put our like attention and our focus back into that thing, back into our higher beliefs, teachings, philosophy, way of like navigating life, because we're gonna need that. Like, we're gonna need our feet firmly planted to be able to tap into our emotions and see where we're going. And this week is like a really just good time to like kind of like feel out the last quarter again with the moon, um before we start like new, right? Okay, Saturday, the moon is in Sagittarius. It's going to square Mars in Pisces. We're going to just again have this like, I want to go, 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 but like it's still not go time yet. And then also, it's going to make a trine to the sun, which might be a teeny bit of like a release when it comes to this tension of wanting to start something. Like, maybe at that point, maybe you just feel the fun of it all, and it doesn't feel so much like pressure anymore. There's just more of like a balance. And then it's going to square Saturn. And then it's going to try and sextile the nodes. So, like, honestly, Saturday is kind of like a lot of just like roller coaster kind of like energy, especially when it comes to our emotions. Also, when it comes to our aspirations, like what we are pointing our arrow towards, it's going to feel a lot like, yay, But ultimately, it ends on a high note, right? And so I think that that day could also be like a good day to really make some progress. Maybe not so much like in an action based way, like on taking action steps like in the world, but more or less on a progress of like understanding yourself, understanding who you are, understanding like more layers of authenticity, more layers of like divine expression, that kind of thing. And then we get into Sunday, and the moon in Sagittarius is going to square Venus, and then Neptune, and then trine Mercury, and then it's going to enter Capricorn late at night. So this whole weekend is like, it's like moon in Sag, like pretty, it's going to feel better than moon in Scorpio, that's for sure. But it is going to be going through a lot of aspects between this mutable stuff in Pisces, and you know, trining this stuff in Aries, like playing on that ending beginning, you know? Like that's how I kind of feel about this. It's like the whole week is like this weird liminal foggy space, and then we get to the weekend and it's like, are we going? Are we not going? Are we going? Oh shit, I still have to end this. Oh shit, I'm ready to go. Like, you know, it's gonna be kind of like that. And then and then Monday, Mercury goes retrograde, which we'll talk about in next week's video. I don't know. I don't know how long I've been recording this one, but I feel like it's best to leave it short and sweet and just like let's get into the tarot portion, right? All right, the first card we got is 10 Sisters of Light. It's number 33. You are an advanced soul and have lived many incarnations, shown your light through many different faces. Your soul has learned many skills in past lives, developed abilities and talents. This lifetime is a culminating lifetime in the sense that your soul is drawing together potencies developed over many lifetimes into unified expression. It is like drawing on the power of 10 sisters or more into your one current lifetime. Be prepared to grow and shine, beloved. The higher self likes to integrate the wisdom it has gleaned over many experiences and lifetimes so that nothing is lost and all is enhanced. You are in a process of spiritual weaving and integration at a soul level now. This means that skills and abilities that you hardly recognize consciously will become more obvious to you. You may find that you know things from different traditions that you have no recollection of ever learning. You may feel strangely drawn to start studying different healing arts or martial arts, for example, only to find that it is somehow familiar to your heart. Be patient, open, and trusting of this journey. It is an intense time of spiritual growth, as in the integration there is also shedding of old issues or pain that no longer serves you. It is good to let this go. You are being asked to encourage the activation of past life abilities in your current lifetime by letting go of past pain and issues, even if you are not conscious fully of what they are, through releasing pain with the breath out of the heart chakra and anywhere else in the body or energy field. You intuitively feel to do so. From the space created, the soul light will shine, and the light of incarnations past, including talents and abilities developed therein, shall shine through you now. This oracle is also guidance that in your life at present, there is a past life pattern or contract strongly operating. This is neither good nor bad. It is helping you to grow either in a supportive way or in a way that is challenging you to become stronger. This past life contract may arise in the form of a teacher, relationship, or teaching. It may resolve itself by you receiving the teaching or letting go of a relationship, or accepting a new relationship into your life, or even letting go of a philosophy or teaching that you may expand your awareness with a different teaching that helps you access the wisdom you need for your growth at this particular phase of your journey. This may be very different to what you needed some years or even months ago, and that is fine. It is up to you to trust your heart and discern what feels true for you. Remember, you are one being with the eternal source, and that being has many faces. Just like the 10 sisters of light, you have various skills and talents, and you can enjoy allowing the process of their return to you now, and the integration and healing of a past life pattern into a new expression, too. This is fucking perfect. Like I said, with this Aries energy with Chiron there, this coming solar eclipse, it's like all about this healing of identity wounds of like who we think we are. And so I really love when it's talking about like all these different faces of past lifetimes and kind of showing like sometimes we get really like constricting with our identities, and we put these boundaries on them that don't make sense, you know. And so it's kind of like saying like, yeah, this week like we have this liminal space of like really ciphering through the endings of things, you know. And I love that it brings in the past life part of it because of the Piscean energy, you know, like really put some ends to things that might not even be yours from this lifetime. It might even be something that was passed down to you through your ancestors, through your family, through your parents. It might be things that like are like spiritual karma that you're carrying, and things like how can you really like end things in like a out of the box type of way to start to really wear identities that are higher expressions of like who you truly are. Like guarantee you anybody that's watching this that's like, I know who I am, like no you don't. There's always more layers to yourself. Your identity is fluid and evolving. So yeah, that's, I love that. Okay, the next card is the creator. Oh, and by the way, guys, that first card is from the Yin, Kuan Yin Oracle. Really fucking love this. This is a new one for me. Um, then this next card is out of the Kim Cran's archetype book. Okay, the creator. The creator, the artist, the alchemist, the innovator. The creator, the first archetype in the trio of existence, is not intimidated by darkness or by lack. They know that from the void, creation inevitably emerges. With meager, minimal, and outlandish materials, the creator reveals a new image. They make the empty room resonate with healing sounds. They generate bounty from the seed that others tossed away. Though generative, this archetype annihilates preconceived notions of what is possible, leaving unexpected openings in the wake of its destruction. The creator does this by first being absolutely present to what is, not imagining or wishing things were different, and second, trusting that a force greater than themselves awaits constant collaboration with each human soul. Whether we call it nature, God, goddess, Shakti, or divinity, it remains nameless. It is the creator's lifelong companion. The creator is naturally attractive and coveted as its energy zings with possibility. You can feel when a creator type enters the room, all eyes land on them. To increase your creator energy, ward off jadedness at all costs. Recommit to childlike curiosity and nix the rules. I really feel like creation is like allowing these higher ideas to be birthed through you. And that happens when you show up and let the universe know that you are ready to be that vessel. And again, energy flows where attention goes. Like wherever we are putting our focus is where we're telling, is that is the, like the universe isn't listening to our words, to our language. It's listening to that. You know, it's listening to where we're focusing. And it's like, let's give you more of that, because that's the inertia, you know, that's you kind of like channeling that flow through yourself. And so you are expressing whatever you're letting flow through you, you know? It's like whatever kind of like creative thing you maybe want to get off the ground, like how can you, even if you don't feel like, even if in this liminal space, if you don't feel the energy, if you don't feel the motivation, if you don't feel the inspiration, how can you still like let the universe know that you're ready to receive it? You know, how can you sit there and act as though, put that energy there? Because you don't really control it. You know, controlling things like wears you out, burns you out. but you can influence the direction of it, the direction of that flow. You can't stop it. You can't make it flow harder, but you can influence its direction. And I think that that is something that we could all spend some time reflecting on and getting comfortable with what that feels like to us, what that looks like to our own unique path. That's it. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about the energies. And I would love to hear any feedback that you have for me. I'd love to know how your experience is of all of this. You know, does it match up? Is it nothing like anything I'm talking about? So use the comment section to let me know. And you can also send me a message if you have any questions about any of the things that I've talked about. And yeah, that's it. The only other announcement I have is that the new moon workshop is coming up. You can find a link to that on my Facebook page. And I would, love to see you there. That's a big deal one. That is the new moon solar eclipse in Aries. And that's it. Thank you guys so much. I hope you're having an amazing time.